Here we are. The day has come.
We've been meaning to do this for 5 years, literally.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years. Where we actually just sit down and explain Seventh, the story.
Yeah.
And even just the journey behind the brand.
Yeah.
And everything that came with the journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so grateful because 5 years has been, it hasn't felt like 5 years, it's felt like 10 years and it's also felt like 1 year.
Yeah. It's gone like this, but then there's so much that's happened.
Yeah. So much. Like 2020 is when it started, 7th, but
2019, I would say. That's when that's when
we night is back.
We dipped our toe in the water. Yeah.
So in regards to 7th, before 7th obviously there was 90s back.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, where was you?
What happened? I know you know the story.
Yeah. By the way, guys, she's told me the story. Well, no, she's not told me the story. I've heard the story. Like, obviously, it's a story, so
you're gonna hear it.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it again. But I thought it'll be good for us to have a conversation and let her explain the story in this conversational setting. Yeah. To you guys.
To you guys and to you.
Yeah.
So I guess the story started, I would take it back to 2011. And actually, I'll take it back to when I was in secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
As I remember, it was a time when I changed my name from Bukki, B-U-K-K.
Why did you change your name?
So I used to get bullied a lot for my full name, Bukola. So I changed my name to Bukki.
Yeah.
Just because it's shorter, it's sweeter. And then I changed the spelling of Bukki from B-U-K-K-Y to B-U-K-K-I.
Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah. So I liked, it looked more aesthetic than Y. And I did that at 15.
Okay.
And I said if I wanted to create a brand, it would be called Bukki. And it would look like that.
Yeah.
Because it had like this Japanese kind of look. And that's what happened, you know. So of course, you know the story. Basically, when I did college at Brit School, did visual arts and design. It feels so weird because now I'm so engrossed in the business aspect of it. But really and truly before, I was so engrossed in the creative in a sense of, all I did at school was
creative.
Was arts, it was textiles. That was the two. And then went to Brit School and I did fine art. So I did sculpture, I did painting, sketching, textile, all of that. And then after doing that, I didn't know specifically what I wanted to do in university because I knew I wanted to create a brand, but I didn't like making clothes. So I thought, if you want to
when you say you didn't like you didn't like the physical aspect of making it?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I just like the ideas.
So you could see it, but
but doing the whole pattern making wasn't my thing whatsoever. So I thought, okay, I can't be a designer if I don't know how to make clothes or if I don't like to make clothes. So I was a bit confused. I like to draw the way it would look like, but I didn't like
ideologists.
So I said, you know what, I'll take a gap year because the only courses were like menswear or like women's wear, which is like all technical design and all that stuff, and I didn't want to do it. So I applied for fashion illustration at LCF and I didn't get in. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just do a gap year. So I did a gap year and I worked, my first job was at a charity shop.
Can I ask what the charity shop was?
British Heart Foundation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They have some good pieces there.
Yeah, it was a village.
Okay, in Birmingham we have a lot of charity shops. So if you want to do like a vintage shop in British Heart Foundation, and there's one, is it Marie Curie? Marie Curie. It's one another charity shop place. But yeah, you said that British Heart Foundation.
Yes, I worked there 3 months for work experience as my first job, and then I was able to get my first proper retail job at Topshop in Oxford Street. So you know, back in the day,
that was
the bee's knees. Like if you had the lanyard, like, I would literally wear the lanyard on the train so people knew. So when I was at Topshop, I was there for a while, for 6 months. But I don't know if you know about this brand called Ragged Priest.
Is it
the one that had like the studs?
Yeah. They have a shop in Carnaby.
Yeah. So they were actually my first inspiration. So Ragged Priest, they used to do a lot of like studs and stuff on the denim, and I just had an idea to say, oh, why don't you put African fabrics on the denim? And before you know it, I went to Brick Lane. I got some African fabrics from Liverpool Street Market, and then I sewed it onto the denim, and then I put it on, and I was like, oh, this kind of looks cool. Back in the day, that was around 2011. That was not seen at the time. And then when I did that, I showed my mum. I was like, Mum, what do you think? And she was like, yeah, it's really nice. And I was like, oh, I want to, maybe Topshop will buy it. Let's give it a try. And then that's literally what happened. Topshop, I presented it to Topshop. I remember, I think I was like 18 then. I'm putting on like these stiletto heels and like this, like. I
can't imagine, the Bukki I know now, I can't imagine you wearing.
I know, it's a completely different Bukki.
You're gonna have to insert it in.
I'm gonna have to insert it.
Like even there was a video of you dancing to Beyonce.
Yeah.
And you had weave and I can't. It's just a different.
Yeah. And I remember I wanted to deliberately look older so the Topshop team would take me seriously. So that's what I did. And I presented to them. I called the head office. I went to the HQ. I tried to knock on all the doors to get the right number to get in, and presented to them. They liked the idea, and then we launched a couple months after. So it was a very quick thing. But I think
so they on the offset of when they saw the design.
So when they saw the design, the lady was like, "I really, really like it. I'll come back to you by email." And then a couple, days later, she was like, "Yeah, we'd like to take you on."
Wow.
And that was.
And that was like with no experience in.
No. I was using Word document to put together the presentation. I was just using initiative. I didn't go on Google or anything.
So with the actual product, how would you make it? Would you like do it yourself?
So I did it. I did the samples myself, and then Ricardo was my videographer at the time.
Big up Ricardo.
Yeah, big up Rica. And then I went to a local dry cleaner, and they started making it for me.
Wow. So
they were my production.
This sounds so Nigerian.
So they were my production house. So I was making denim, like patchwork on the denim. We'll insert some imagery. And I was producing it I remember it was in Hackney, the dry clean in Hackney. They had like this production underground. So I would get the production from there. So I would buy vintage in bulk and then transport to the dry cleaners, buy fabric in bulk, transport to the dry cleaners, and then I would tell them, cut it like this, move it like this. It was very DIY.
What kind of gave you that inspiration to even do that? Because it's not a normal thing, like thinking about Ankara and like vintage. Like, what kind of inspired you to be like, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to follow it through.
I think I've always just I like to blend cultures. So I think even like the projects I did in secondary school, it was always about blending things together, merging cultures together. So I did that for my final project in secondary school. I made like a couture dress out of Ankara. That was my thing. That's what I did. Some shuku kind of sugar kind of dress. But it was all in Ankara, and I mixed like leather with it, and I tried to make it like modern, but then also paying homage to African.
Is it kind of like how the dresses look nowadays with like the corset? Because Ankara dresses are very much now it's more like modernized. They've got is it peplum, that thing that they
I don't know what you're talking about, but
peplum's like when it flares out at the bottom.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. So that was just always an idea, just how can we blend cultures together. So that was an Ankara at the time, because it was like again, I used to travel to Nigeria a lot as well. So that was also part of my inspiration, because I was much going back. So I guess I was getting inspiration from that, and that's kind of what made me go into that. And so
once you did Topshop, so you got in.
I got in, and of course, excited. I remember posting on Facebook, I'm 18 years old and I've been able to launch in Topshop. It was a big announcement, but the reality hit me so fast. So of course, with Topshop, you have to deliver collections quickly. And because it was Ankara fabric, it only sold well in the summer. Okay. It didn't do well in the winter.
This is so funny.
I know. Exactly. So only sold well in the summer. So when it got to winter, it was really tough. But the good part about it was, at the time, all of the Afrobeat artists was just starting out their career. Like it was just at the beginning of when Afrobeat was, So Wizkid was wearing it, Davido was wearing it, Tiwa Savage was wearing it, Yanya was wearing it. Name all of the top stars that were really like on the come up. They were wearing it, so it became this whole massive thing, you know. And as a young girl, you know, I was feeling myself. I can't lie.
Yeah, of course. When you're 18 in Topshop,
no one can tell you nothing.
That's a dream.
Yeah, and then you got all these celebrities, and they come to the after party.
Yeah.
But my God, really humbled me.
What was like the first challenge that hit when you launched?
Finance.
Yeah.
The first challenge was finance. Now they need new collections. We'll get into autumn, winter. The money was running out. I didn't know what VAT was. I had a tax man running after me and knocking my door like, what's going on?
Even in regards to like production, because you're using obviously
a dry cleaner.
The Brixton or Hackney dry cleaner. How are you even going to produce? Or let's say if they want like extended amount of quantities, how are you going to even deliver?
So that was a huge problem. So production was a problem. You know, and trying to think of new designs that works with Ankara in the winter was a huge problem. Money was a problem. Even structure, I didn't have no structure. I didn't know what I was just winging it. And I was going to my mum was just like, thumbs up to you, you do your thing, I'm not part of it.
Do you think because like I know we've been Nigerian, with Africans, they just want to see it do well. So then they don't really want to put too much mouth into what it is.
So they don't want to be blamed.
So do you feel like, because she saw it got into Topshop, she was, or has your mum always kind of been that supportive mum that no matter what you do, despite the money coming in, I'm going to support?
When it started to get sour, of course she was there at the beginning. And I think my mum was a very unique person. She, like I said, she was the kind of mum that would take, you know, me and my neighbours to a gallery for the weekend. She was that kind of mum. I remember I have childhood memories of going to galleries on the weekend. That was what we did. She would go to Tate, she'd take me to the Science Museum, she'd take me to V&A. That was the kind of mum that I had. So she was very tapped in artistically and creatively. So me going into fashion was like, go ahead. It was so like...
Was your mum creative as well in what she did?
She was very entrepreneurial. She had a lot of great ideas and she was very artistic. She loved watching Americans Next Top Model with me. Anything fashion, anything creative, she loved it. But she was a social worker. So I think she expressed her creativity through me. And she loved to, you know, have that flair. That flair with me,
I think you was her escape in terms of creativity. Because obviously, I know sometimes with, especially first gen, sometimes they do have to just, I know your mum, she moved from Nigeria to come here. So it's kind of like she had to make ends meet with, you know what I mean, what she had as well. So I think it's beautiful that you have someone that can actually express themselves creatively in front of you, because I think creativity is something that I feel like everyone has it and it stems from within, but sometimes you can't manifest it as you grow older. It depends on like the job you go into, or like obviously life, where life takes you. So I feel like it was nice that you had those experiences for your mum to even take you to Tate. Do you know what I mean? Like
and from an African household, that was her thing. And it wasn't just me, she'll take all of our neighbours, because I'm the only child, so she's like, oh, which friends do you want to come? And that was my childhood. Put me into arts and crafts clubs and all sorts of things. That's Kinetica, so she just put me everywhere. So she was always a support system, but when she started to see that things were going south, she was like, okay.
She doesn't know if it's going to work.
She's like, all right, let's wrap it up, because the money is on the line. So basically, when I first started, investment-wise, my mum was always putting money aside for me since I was born. So when I wanted to do this idea, she was like, okay, well, this is all the savings that I've saved up for you since you was born. You can use that to start your business. So of course now the money is run out.
It's a drag.
And I'm owing the tax man tens of thousands of pounds, because I don't know, I have an uncle that's doing my accountant. So, it was just getting really messy. So she was just like, it's time to wrap it up. It's time to go to university. Your gap year has been nice. You've done
enjoyed,
but let's wrap it up. Because it wasn't just Topshop. We then eventually launched into Urban Outfitters as well. And then on ASOS Marketplace as well. And then we went on to the main ASOS. So there was 3 different retailers that I was dealing with. So there was a lot happening, but I was running out of money. I was in the red, then I was in the green. So when I got to the point of me making that decision to say, I'm going to end it. That was a really tough decision. It was, again, my whole identity was built on...
And your dream as well, because I feel like, that idea came out of you just being like, you know what, I want to do something.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a really tough decision to say, you know, I'm going to call it quits. Because I literally had an option. It's either you file for bankruptcy or you just stop it and close the business down. And at the time, I was very much known in the industry.
Yeah, so reputation was at hand.
Reputation was at hand, and I was like, what am I going to say? You know, I just disappeared. That's what I did. I had to just go under. So closed the business down, closed the business accounts down, closed everything down.
Did you?
And I went into hiding.
Yeah. In terms of hiding, how long was you hiding for? And what was you doing in that hiding place?
Yeah, so I think that is when I met God.
Yeah.
So I was at my lowest point.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, it was a great achievement, but it was a quick failure. But I felt like a failure, and I was at home. I was just at home, and I was just getting into like a little bit of a depression.
What year was this?
This was this journey started in 2011, so this would be about 2013.
2013,
yeah. 2013.
Where was I? I was still in school. I was in, I think, preschool.
Okay. What's preschool? Sorry, because
primary.
Oh, primary school.
Yeah,
okay,
I was in primary.
Okay.
No, what was that? Or was I in secondary?
Yeah.
So, from 2013 up until what point?
So 2013 was when I was like, you know, I've hit rock bottom. Where am I going to go from here? I just said, you know, God, we need to figure this out. And my mum was like, you need to go to uni, you need to go to university. At least let's get that out of the way. So I said, you know what? I'm only going to go to university if it's going to help me fulfill my dream again. Like, I want to try again. And I think that determination, because people ask me, where did determination come from? What made you to stand up again? I really do think it's been watching how my mum actually operated and how she was so determined and how she was so resilient. You grew up seeing that, and you don't know that you know, rubs off on you. Always.
I think your parents are a reflection of you. So as you grow older, you always reflect whatever they've
installed into you. So I said, you know, I'm going to gap and try again, but I really want to do a course that is going to be for me to understand business of fashion, because I think that's where it lacks in the creative industry. And it was just really why Seven Circle was born, because there is such a disconnect between the creative industry and the business. Most creatives, they have the most phenomenal ideas. But to sustain it, you can launch it. It's great with the launch. But if you look 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, we crash. So I said, you know what? I really want to learn how to do fashion business. So I was scouring around the internet to look for courses. And the only courses I can find were in the undergraduate was how to begin, how to start. And for me, I didn't want a how to start. I wanted to know.
Done it already.
Yeah.
So you kind of already knew.
Exactly. How do I want to know how to sustain? How do I grow? How do I scale? So the only course that came up was this master's course called Fashion Entrepreneurship and Innovation at LCF, London College of Fashion. And it was master's. I ain't got an undergraduate degree. So I was like, Mum, there's this course, it's really sounding really good. Like the title alone is sounding amazing. The curriculum is sounding fantastic, but it's master's. I was like, just apply. And they said no. And then I said, you know, I'm not taking no for an answer. God, I believe that you sent me this course. It was too good to be true. The title of the course, everything was just perfect. So I took the letter of decline to church, and there was a praise session. Praise night. And I literally praised God in advance, visualizing
yourself walking into uni.
Visualizing that, to say that. Sorry. Visualizing that, do you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened, man. They say I sent a letter of appeal to them to say these are the reasons why I don't agree with your decision.
What was in that? So go on, No, let me understand. What was in that appeal?
So I have started a brand with no knowledge whatsoever. I've been able to achieve so and so and so. We've been able to expand the business across US, UK, Europe. We've been able to launch in all these stores, Topshop, Open Outfits. I was giving them all of my receipts of what I've done on my own without any help, any guidance. And I said, I just need this course to give me direction to know how to restart again. And I told them my story. and the course director, and I asked specifically for the letter to be sent to the course director. They sent it to the course director. The receptionist was a hater. She was like, look, I understand that you've got this letter, but you know, I can't guarantee that, But it got to the course director, and in that waiting time, it was a couple of weeks, my mum was like, you can't stay on this sofa any longer, go and find a job. Was going all around town, went applying in Sainsbury's, applying in Tesco's, applying in, you know, the high street stores to get a physical job, but no one was taking me on. My mum was like, okay, well, you've got loads of your leftover denim in the garage, which is taking up my space. I need you to get it out. Go to the market, put it on eBay, just do something. I can't have you sit on the sofa anymore. You're too, at that time I was 21 or so. So I was like, you're too old to be sitting on my sofa. So I went to the market. I had to be humble, and I literally took my stuff in a suitcase and traveled down to Camden Market and started trading. I first started in Brick Lane. It didn't work too well. So I went to Camden and started trading, and it did well. I mean, first day, I think I made like £50. I felt alleviated. I felt my faith was charged up. I think that point where I was really low in depression, I think because I put God to the test at that time, and I said, God, this is the course that I want.
How, because I know you said in the time of your hiding place, you found God. How long was you in that space of like, obviously seeking God? Yeah,
so it was like 2012, 2013, 2014. That was the shift where I was at my lowest point. I needed encouragement, I needed a push, and I found that comfort in God. I had to meet him for myself, which means I had to start working intentionally on my relationship with him. You know, so daily Bible reading, and again, it's just all positivity. So that was what it was for me. It was that boost of positivity that I needed. And when it got to the course, it was like, okay, God, if you're really real, you're going to show yourself here. And he did. And that was like, okay, cool. I know God is on my side because he literally just did a miracle. And whenever I say this story, it's always so crazy to people. How are you able to do a master's degree without an undergraduate course? That's ridiculous.
I can't believe it. I've never.
So I was the youngest to graduate in my class. Everyone was like way older. I never had any experience in this level of education. I mean, I've come from college to masters. So it was definitely a huge, it was challenging.
How long was the course?
1 year.
And was you doing it alongside the vintage
market? Yeah. So as I was trading on the weekends and doing my school on the weekdays. So that was me for a year. So in that year, I actually tried to restart my brand again, and that didn't work. But
that was titled
Bukki as well. But the vintage business was working, and that's when the vintage business was growing. We started off in the store. We'll put some pictures on the screen so you can see. Started from the store. From the store, we went from the indoor market. We went to the indoor market. From the indoor market, my customers were like, you need to get this stuff into Shoreditch. And just so you know, the stuff I was selling, I sold off all the vintage denim, but the customers were like, oh, do you do hoodies? Or do you do like combats? Do you do this? Do you do that? And I was like, no, but I can figure it out and find it. So I became a person that sourced really good vintage. So I would go to wholesalers in Italy, I would go to wholesalers in Cardiff, I would travel a lot to Wales. I'll be on the bus for like 3-4 hours. Sometimes my mum would drive me down as well, and we would make a trip to get the vintage. And I became this person that would source really good quality vintage, and it was called 90s Back. It's because of my neighbour next door. She was that woman that really sold my help to sell. She taught me how to sell.
Was that the Jamaican lady?
The Jamaican lady. So she would say, come and get your 90s clothes. The 90s is back. The 90s is back. And I was like, 90s is back. 90s is back. And then the name 90s Back came. And then I called it 90s Back. And this is from end of 2014. Now we're moving on. We've moved from outdoor to indoor to now Shoreditch. So,
and I know that transition, Shoreditch obviously is more grand than Camden. How was the shift in that as well? Because it's like you're shifting from maybe like a marketplace with not that much clientele to now. Shoreditch is like, and that time I know Shoreditch was huge for. It still is Brick Lane. Obviously, like all the vintage shops. How was that journey? And even what was you not scared? Like, oh, I'm actually. Like, no.
Of course, you get like the nervous feeling. But I was like,
this is
I feel like with risk taking, I enjoy it, like low key. I don't know what it is, but I enjoy the gamble.
I feel like a lot of CEOs, that's the mantra that they love risks. It's about the risk that you can't really.
You can't win. Yeah. So.
I mean, even when you think about 7, that was not planned.
No, not at all.
Because that was your third try on the business.
Yeah. So it got to Shoreditch. That transition was really good because I first did a pop-up at Box Park and I really liked it. It was amazing. And within that transition, as you know, mum passed away in 2018 and I was given an option whether to go to America to be with the rest of my family because that's where most of my family live, or stay in UK and continue on pressing. And thank God for good mentors and good people around me. They were like, look, you've built so much. And mum gave me the last of her savings for 90s back. She said, look, this is it. I'm clearing up my account. Use it for 90s back. So I was like, I can't, not continue when she's given me the last of what she had. So there was like this drive. And I think that also coming back to your point on, was you scared? I think when mum went home, I had this unusual determination to make it happen. This must work. I must make mum proud. It was such a sad ending to her life, but I wanted to be her happy ending. I wanted her legacy. I wanted her story to end well, where it's not like, oh, Bukki, I'm so sorry mum went.
But look at the fruit.
But I wanted it to be like, oh, mum went, but well done. I wanted it to be a happy story. So I think I had this, I'm gonna make it. And I came in to 2019 with that drive, and it was in 2019 where end of 2018 we did a pop-up at Box Park. I did so well, and I was like, you know what, okay, we can make this work. Let's try and find a physical, permanent space in Shoreditch. And we moved into Shoreditch. I found a space. At the time, I told God I want to move in. I want to move out of Camden, because when I tasted AC, I tasted the high life in Shoreditch.
There's no going back. Like once you have tasted something nice, you're like, no. I can't go.
Even the shoot yesterday.
You can't.
Yeah.
But for you, because you're even an only child as well, on your mom's side, obviously.
So I grew up as an only
can't
child.
imagine, like, I would be so scared, because it's like, I'm literally the only one in London. Obviously, mom's passed. So, didn't that, obviously, I know you had the drive as well, but was there ever times you felt maybe alone, or you felt like,
Oh, absolutely. I was so I was definitely going through a lot of grief, a lot of pain. And a lot of adjusting, creating a new normal. Like, my mum was my main family. It was the one I would spend my Christmas with, or spend my birthdays with. She was the only one. So when she went, I realized, damn, like she was my main family. So it was so difficult. It was so painful. But there was this, again, supernatural strength and peace that God gave me through that process. That thank God I didn't run into depression. Thank God I didn't run into, the lowliest of lows. Because I've seen how people react to death, and it's.
I can't imagine.
It's
even for me.
It's a really hard thing. But I thank God I didn't have the story that some other people have, where they go into homes because mentally they've lost it. And I completely get it. It's that painful. So I now get to Shoreditch, and during
it's like,
this,
it reminds me of it's like Canaan land.
What?
Not Canaan land, the promised
land.
land.
The promise. But that was my scripture, My scripture was like,
this is your promised land.
This is a promised land.
I
was like, God, take me to the promised land. I'm done with the hustling out here, being in the cold and the rain and the snow. Time to get into a good environment. And Shoreditch was that. I didn't actually want to be in Brick Lane area. I wanted to be in Shoreditch, near Box Park. It was a bit more up scale, and I had the clientele that I was looking for. And at that time, we grew. We were reselling trainers. We was reselling Burberry, Chanel. We was reselling Maharishi. It became this whole amazing space for 90s vintage, but at a very high scale. But personally, I tried my best, because I personally was into minimalism. I loved great aesthetics. I love clean aesthetics. It was what I was into with my second brand. When I tried to rebrand, I tried to make it really clean and minimal. So even with the store layout, I tried my best to like have everything in colour coordination.
Those metal poles were like...
Those metal poles. Do you get what I mean? Tried to have everything in colour coordination. That's when I was following you on Instagram. Yeah. I followed you, I followed NDJ, I followed NCL Gallery. I followed all of these like different Instagram pages as inspiration to know, okay, how can I create a vintage store that has a completely cool concept that's a bit more clean, a bit more minimal. I wanted a vintage store that's not when you go in there and it smells of like old clothes. I wanted it to feel fresh and new. And that's exactly what we did and we tried to do.